Hi, everybody. The following show was recorded before the SAG-AFTRA strike and is being aired with the permission of our guest. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Sistas podcast, where we give you our point of view. We are proud members of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network. I'm your host, Tamia Harper. I'm joined today by my sisters, Yvette Blackman-Tom.
Hello.
Sabrina Wood. Whoop, whoop. And Fran T.
What's happening?
Oh my goodness. What's happening, Fran, is that we've got this great interview for you guys today. Paramount was kind enough to grant us some time with Celia Rose Gooding, portrayer of Ensign Nyota Uhura, and to talk about her latest episode, Lost in Translation, Season 2, Episode 6 of Strange New Worlds, which is a whole Uhura episode. Wasn't it awesome, guys?
It really was.
Very much.
Yes.
And she was awesome.
She was.
Yeah, you're gonna love this episode of the Sci-Fi Sisters. We've been waiting.
So we really hope that you all enjoy this little show. Okay, hey everybody, we're here with Celia Rose Gooding. How are you, love? We're so happy to see you.
I'm so good. I'm over the moon to be able to speak with y'all for many, many reasons, but I really appreciate y'all's support of me. Y'all are very, very vocal in y'all's support of me, and I really, really appreciate that. So it's an honor to share space with y'all now.
So we told you at the beginning of the convention, at the red carpet for premiere for Strange New Worlds, that we had your back, honey. We are so proud of you, and like we were going to take you with us, and you were one of us, and we mean that, and we got you.
Thank you. I feel it, and I really am grateful for it.
So we're going to get right into it because we know we don't have a lot of time with you. So we're really grateful for the time that we do have. Thank you so much for your time. Okay. Communications, Uhura, this episode, it's everything. It's so wonderful. And the whole time, I mean, first of all, you are amazing in this episode. It's like a tour de force, like every emotion you portrayed. We were right there with you, girl, like the whole thing. So I know I'm speaking on behalf of everybody, right, y'all?
Right.
Yes.
Here comes the chorus.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
One of the things that I was thinking about as I watched this episode was, the way that Black folks in America, we learn to communicate in so many different levels and in so many different ways. And I was like, this is the Black person's experience, so much of this episode. I mean, first of all, that we got to learn how to talk with these other people. And second of all, what's happening to them, the success of this other society is really what's killing these other people. It's being, it's built on. There were so many similarities that I thought. What were you thinking as you were going into this role with that?
So much. My goodness. Episode 206, it meant so much for Uhura, of course, and just to have those moments and to be that vulnerable and to still be received so well. I think that was so important for her to have. But for Celia, as an actor, as a Black person in this country in the year 2023, just how much of what Uhura was going through were things that Celia went through but didn't have the confidence to do it in front of others. And to play a character who doesn't necessarily have that same instinct to keep the emotional cards close to the chest, to play a character who doesn't necessarily feel held back by stereotype or held back by fear of what other people will think of her, the same way that Celia very well may have when I was having those feelings of not knowing how to go on when being faced with such deep emotional anchors. And so playing a character who also is going through that in a very human way, but is not held back by the same fears of the time that I'm in versus the time that Uhura is in. It was just, whew, it was really good. It was
Wow.
really, really good for me to have, just because it, I don't know, y'all as women who have so much life experience beyond myself and beyond what I have been through, I feel like y'all's understanding of the world that I'm just now coming to terms with and just now making sense of, I feel like this episode is for people who see themselves or see younger versions of themselves in my Uhura, who see themselves as someone who like was given a lot of opportunity but doesn't really know what to do with it, but can't say that out loud because they fear being looked at differently. Like I just now coming to terms with those feelings, but I couldn't help but think of my mother and my aunties and my grandmother who are very emotional creatures like myself, but because of the times in which they grew up, they didn't have an opportunity to say, I don't know how to do this and I need that's very new, especially for Black women and femmes. And so much of just like the emotional work that I had to do was sort of putting my human survival instincts aside and reminding myself that I'm not in danger, and reminding myself that I'm not in 2023. I'm not Celia. I am Uhura in 20 something, much farther in the future. And those sort of things and those obstacles don't exist the same way they exist for me. And I had to put those sort of, again, I call them survival instincts because that's what they are for us. And I had to put those aside. And that was the hardest part. I could play the fear, I could play the insecurity, I could play the real emotional, just like drop of it. The hard part was being able to do it and then not immediately try to silence that or to take it back, because that's not what Uhura would do.
And then, I noticed that in the episode, the captain was right along with her. She, he didn't, he kind of questions like, well, kind of what's going on, but he believed you. Okay, whatever you want. Okay, but and I'm like, okay, he's being supportive. He's not saying, no, you're crazy or whatever. But why do we need to do this? Okay, you got it. But this is But he supported her when you said cut down to this and Captain, I really saw this, and he said, I believe you. Get some sleep. Get some rest. So get some rest. So, I really like that because, in this 20, it's still in 20 is, as I'm probably near your grandmother's age.
Doubt it.
There were times when I was in a room with people and they act like I was invisible,
Yeah.
They treated me as if I was invisible. Most of the time I didn't let them. And sometimes I said, I don't care, whatever. But most of the time I didn't, let them treat me. As if I was invisible and that I didn't matter. And mostly, in the workplace and sometimes at other places too, but I'm talking about the invisibility in a group in the workplace is what I'm talking about now. Yeah.
Totally understand where you're coming from and what specifically you're speaking on. And I'm sorry. It's one of those things that it's such a generational experience and something that I see very clearly in even different iterations. Now that I'm just, I grow and I continue to just know what certain things look like. I see it. And I'm very aware of it, and it affects me in certain situations where I feel as though people's opinions of what I have to offer because of what I look like, because of how I present myself, that is definitely something that I'm aware of. And it was something that I had to really be aware of in an episode where that's not happening.
Yeah.
Simply because I had to, again, honor those who had to go through those moments of being silenced and being marginalized and being discounted in order for me to play, in order for there to be any merit or worth or real storytelling power in a situation where that's not happening. Because I think sci-fi, the escapism is beautiful and wonderful, but I don't want it to be so far removed from the Black experience that it seems unrecognizable. That seems unreal.
Somebody write that down.
Right? And so I thank you. And so I had to play that of like, yes, we are in a very different world, but those feelings, those fears, while they may not have been like beginning from her, she comes from a community, a people who have those generational, almost genetic impulses to not go there. And so I had to find a way to play that, but also play, there's so many things in mind that I had to keep an eye on just because I know what Uhura means to people, and I know what she means to this industry and our community, and so I couldn't play her as somebody who did not exist in the same world of the world that we live in. But I also couldn't play her as somebody who's been through what my grandmothers and my aunts and my mothers have been through. It was such a balancing act, and I'm still, even though the episode was already done and coming out next week, I'm still trying to figure out how to do it. But
you did it. Yeah. You did it.
I tell you, the moment that got me that was so telling was when she says, "I hear something," when she's on the bridge. And you say, "I hear something," and you're like, "But it's not there." And he's like, "Do you really hear?" She's like, "I know it was there." And like, "Okay, I'm going to run a complete diagnostic." It was just like from 0 to 100, right?
Yes.
You know, and that's us. Like, that is us, because we know that we have to be, 5 times sharper and better and more thorough than everybody else. Like, we don't have the luxury of sitting around, "I don't know what it is." I mean, the engineers might be able to figure it out or help. No, no, because it's always going to come back to us, and that, and the stigma of like, "You're crazy, you're emotional, you're too impassioned, you're like," whatever stereotype people want to place on us at that moment, it's very convenient. So she was just like, "Okay, I'm up. I got to figure this out.
I got to do it. I got to figure it out." And that is such a generational impulse of like, I don't feel believed. Let me go do 110 to find proof. Meanwhile, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for y'all. We're in this. I know I heard it. Y'all gonna hear it eventually. So help me help you.
That's about 40 minutes. Y'all gonna understand everything.
Exactly. Because y'all not about to gaslight me.
That's right.
Not on my NC-17.
That's right.
That's right.
And don't be giving me no cookies either.
Exactly. And that, there were so many moments like that where I was like, this is such a like lovely Black experience of like, I don't want a cookie. Sorry.
A cookie.
Don't let me bust you in the nose again.
Like, do not make me cock this elbow back, sir.
Right.
When he was getting up, I think she knocked him down on the floor.
But it was so real.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. This is your time. This is your shine. Like, and you did the thing,
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead, Yvette. You look like you got something.
No, I just wanted to. It's the same. It's just the writing. When Anitra, when she writes for you, it is, it is the experience. When she wrote you as that queen, you were given all your theater cred was out there, girl. And then with this, she gave us our Uhura, because like you said, this means a lot to us. It means a lot to all of us. Even if you don't watch Star Trek, it means a lot to us to have you play this role and to find out more about her. I mean, because we're learning so much more. I was just telling the sisters that, you know, in the future on Picard, they gave you this wonderful future as a captain of the Leningrants, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. And that particular ship, like this, is all about communications. Mm-hmm. You were the first one. You had over 100 first contacts. And that's all this episode is about first contacts. And I thought that just kind of, because I love learning the history, the canon of everything. Yeah. And it just rolled right along. And I just love the writing and the writing of you in particular warms my heart. Because I think Onitra and you totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
Totally get it.
Onitra and I can't help but gravitate towards her just because I feel with the writing team, I feel in such good hands. But when I want to try and explain an experience that is very specific to my community, and it goes deeper than ways that my understanding of language, like there are things that I can't really communicate and can't really explain in a way that makes it make sense the same way as it would if you lived it. Right. And so when I reached out to Onitra and she was watching that scene that I had in my quarters with Kirk when I'm weeping and really just like laying it all out on the table, I remember just going to her and being like, thank you for giving me a space to sort of just finally say that. And because just the way I act, my approach to acting is very much me infusing my lived experience in the moments and letting just whatever the emotional, however it comes up is how it plays. And Onitra and I had such a conversation about canon of how important it is to see a character that is so beloved for their professionalism, for their grace and their ability to pretty much take on anything, to know that that's who that person is, but to see them at their genesis so not that was so important for so many people, because it showcases and it reminds people who see themselves in Uhura, but especially Black women and femmes, it reminds them that you don't have to be perfect, and you do not have to be perfect at 22.
That's
like,
right.
Like, I'm a baby. She's a child. And she's been given this platform. And I know instinctively we carry that pressure to be the best at everything all the time, so people can't count you out. But there's such a pressure that comes with that. And to play a character who doesn't really deal with that in the same way, or doesn't have the knowledge of the person she's going to become, to play her in a very vulnerable space just continues to showcase her humanity. I think that's what we're doing.
And speaking of weeping, when you were talking about grief, I just lost someone real close to me. So of course, thank you. And so of course, you know, and what they said was, because I think sometimes in my mind I'm forgetting him, but I'm really not forgetting him. It's just too hard, for me to remember him. It's too hard for me to remember him. And when you all had that conversation and you said, you know, I really didn't deal with it, you know, I put it away, you know, when the character's family died in the shuttlecraft and everything, and you and you didn't deal with the grief and everything. And I'm like, why am I getting over this so fast? And then when you all said that, it was like, okay, it's too hard for me to remember right now. So thank you for that. That helped a lot.
It's really all about, that's good. I was recently having a conversation about where the weight goes, and the weight, yes, it is a weight on shoulders, it's a weight on your chest, it's a weight on the back of on like the base of your spine. It's a full body situation, and that weight doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. The weight is going from her shoulders to her hands, in a sense that she can see it, she can hold it, she can protect it, so it doesn't overtake her.
Yeah.
And that was such a lesson for me. My father passed when I was very young, And I still, when I have to play people who have like, who've also lost their parents, it's very difficult for me to sort of like do that, because I, in the same way, where my grief sits is different every day.
Yeah.
And during that episode, my grief sat right at the top of my throat, and it made it really hard to get those words out. And so much of it was just taking that weight off my neck and putting it in my hands and looking at it and saying, "This is where you are today. Hi, I see you. Hi, and just holding it and being like, you are valid. You make so much sense. You're not going anywhere. But if you could just like hit my pocket real quick and stay in there, so I can check in with you later. Right. I got a little bit of work to do. But it's all about honoring that, and instead of doing the thing that I've been instinct to do is just to say and try and run away from it like that. That's I can't throw it somewhere and run. Like that's not a thing that I can do. And to play a character who is not doing that, but she's also a representation for so many people who see themselves in her, to see her doing that thing that other people who love and respect her will also have to do in their life, because that's just the circle of it. It felt like it was such a gift for me, because as a member of the Black community, we as a community have lost so much. Yes. Especially in this decade, especially in the year 2020, I feel like our grief is under a spotlight, and it would be disingenuous to play. It would be disingenuous, and it would be incredibly disrespectful to play that grief as something you can just step out of when you have a big job.
It is. Yeah. And it wouldn't be I forgot the word.
It wouldn't be fair.
I think I'm overwhelmed with Fran, and then I remember hearing about your father and all. I was there too, so I get it. Ooh, I didn't know this was going to turn into a grief session.
Oh, all right. Well,
it's so important.
But it's so important because we're so traumatized. We're such a traumatized people that sometimes we forget that grief is part of being a human.
And that was the episode.
That was the episode.
Exactly what it was.
And Hammer, her friend Hammer,
Hammer.
I told you he'd come back. I told you.
Hammer.
Kind of way.
Like it was Uhura's vision of Hammer. I feel like, yes, it was specifically Hammer, but I feel like what informed me as an actor was making it bigger than just him. It was
right.
Her parents,
her
father. It was like, even though she doesn't have knowledge of this person, like it's also Michael Burnham and Cisco and Michelle and just like every Black member of Starfleet who has had to do the hard thing and persevere to get that nod of permission and that nod of go forward, you can continue.
Ooh.
I really felt like that came through.
So much.
No, it did. It
really did. Because I'm sure I thought about Michael Burnham.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you saw like my immediate thoughts were on this episode were because like seeing it writ large on like the Black heart, I mean, I saw our experience throughout this entire episode, and the weight of that grief, as you're talking about the generational impact on it in our bones, that we carry so much more than just our particular lived experience,
And then, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
On the other side of the grief, we also have the profound joy.
Yeah.
And the I don't know, I can't help but smile when I think back to that scene of when she steps out of the elevator and she finally is like, hey, stop.
Right.
Stop.
That's it.
Stop. And for that to be received from her team and been like, we hear you, it is done. And then she has that moment where she's, I don't think I even say anything. I think it's Pike who's talking, but you see it on my face. At least I think I see it on my face, of like her coming back to herself in a way that is like only so delicious and gratifying and lovely to see, because we see how far away she gets from herself. So we see that return to the self of her getting comfortable, and that's almost again a joy and a relief that is so generational and is so much bigger than herself. I keep my hand on my heart just because it comes from a place that is so much bigger than what I can conceptualize with my one brain. But we flip that coin and we see the joy and we see the security and we see that it only comes from after navigating those difficult spaces.
Right.
We see it only after she went. We appreciate the brightness and the lightness of her smile again. We don't see her smile until like, and that was very intentional for me. Like, we don't see her smile until she's back in a place of, again, she's not healed, she's not better, she's not fixed, but she's put it in her hands now. She's back in control. And that is where the joy comes from, of being like, oh no, I can do this.
Yeah.
Anything.
I tell you, my joy came when I heard your character say fire torpedoes. That was my joy right there. And they did it. They fired those torpedoes.
I said so. You should be listening to me.
Right. Okay. She's got it figured out. And the other thing I really want to say to you, and I say this as somebody that, like Fran, we saw the original show. We're going to tell you that story for the 99 millionth time. You know it.
And I want to hear it 99 million more times.
Not today with you, because when you did that last scene with you and Ethan Peck and Paul Wesley all sitting there, I got goosebumps. And I said to myself, she's playing Uhura, but she's playing her Uhura. And I think Nichelle can rest, because you got it, girl. You got it. It was like, you don't have to imitate her. Nope. You don't have to try to look like her or be like her. You're just doing your Uhura, and that is her. It was Nyota. I was like, tears, goosebumps.
All of it.
It was fine.
It was
we
there.
Are okay with you being Uhura.
Perfectly.
That's right. That's it. You don't ever think that you ever have to compare yourself with Nichelle Nichols again. She is Nichelle Nichols.
Yep.
That's it. That's her space. You can't be there.
So
now you got your space, and we here for you. That's it.
I was like,
I know. There's so many tears flowing right now.
We're all crying. It's a good day. It's a fantastic day to cry. What a lovely day it is. What a lovely day to be honest with our feelings.
Always.
Thank you. And that scene was, I was grinning. I thought my mouth was gonna fall off when the three of you all were sitting there together.
It's so good, right?
Isn't it great to know in canon that it was Nyota who introduced Spock to Spock?
When they showed the handshake.
Handshake, and then there's this moment, and I hope they keep it in the edit, because it was so. I'm such a detail-oriented actor that, like, there's certain things that I'll be, and I know they hate me for it. They don't hate me, no. Very kind. But I often will like go to the director hub where they're sitting in front of all the monitors, and I'm like, so I don't know if you caught it, but there was a moment where Spock looked to Uhura, almost like looking for permission to sit, and she
we saw
that. We saw it.
And you did, yes. It's still there.
Because we all noticed it.
Yeah, right. It's still there. I said, she looked at Spock. I mean, Spock heard her. Said, can I sit?
Can I join you?
Is it okay?
Yeah, like it was such a clear sign of like the beginnings of the level of respect that Spock has for Uhura.
Yes.
And also a reflection of how just in those moments where Uhura is looked to and treated, listen, my goodness, the moments where Uhura is looked to and treated with respect and care and acknowledgement of what she has been through up until this moment, the moments in which we see these commanding officers, these often white men, look to her and check in and say, are you comfortable? Like, I know what you've been going through this past episode or however they decide to telegraph it over the past couple of weeks. I also know where you were in season 1, where you weren't feeling as if this is what you wanted to do. Like, are you comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
That, like, I don't know. We all know the importance of consent, but like, that was what it was so important for me to know that audiences see that these people who are superior officers, when we meet them, had the respect for her in her beginnings.
Mm-hmm. Right.
She didn't have to earn it. She didn't have to do anything to do it. She had it because they understood the importance of her having it. And that was, I was like, that has to be in the episode.
Yeah. We noticed it. We saw it, and it's still there.
Yeah. All the something we do. We would. It's definitely something we would notice.
Yeah.
I think
and that's why I needed everybody to see it, because some people may not see it, and I needed folks to say, "Listen, the Uhura you're seeing is worthy of the same respect, the same kindness, the same patience, the same agency that Lieutenant Uhura has, and there was nothing that was going to prevent her from having it. The same way that in the year 2023, people may still have those instincts to be like, I don't know if you've earned my respect yet. Like that not being a thing for this episode was just like, I needed it. I needed it then. So I'm glad we had it.
There. Thank you.
I think like we just, all of that you guys were just talking about for Uhura, I think is so why this episode means so much to all of us. We see the beginnings of the character that we came to know, but I mean, the way in which it's done is just so beautiful. It really is everything. When we got to this episode in the screeners, like it came out of the blue. I mean, we were all sitting up here in our feels about it, because it's so much bigger. And, you know, it's like, as you've said so well, you know, it really is so much bigger. And just to see the beginnings of all these smarts of her, everything that is supposed to know about her, like it didn't just come out of nowhere. You play her, you're so careful with her, and you're so respectful of her. We couldn't have asked for better. We couldn't have asked for more. You know, I mean, we really couldn't have. I mean, I have no final question unless somebody else does. I just have a lot of praise.
I don't need. I'm just going to sit here and bask in my feelings.
I just have a lot of praise. Like we told you in the beginning, like I think you are an uncommon light on this earth, and you're so full of power and grace. And I love how you're channeling and directing it. And no, you don't, even with all of that, you're absolutely right. You don't have to know how to handle it all the time. None of us popped out of the womb knowing how to handle stuff, you know, right?
Listen, I sure didn't.
None of us.
We had to learn. We had to learn, and it's how we go through. And it's how we go through that journey to learn that makes everything. Like, what are we learning? And girl, you're doing the thing, and we just love you to pieces. And like we said, we always got your back, and we will always.
I know it.
Always.
The Trek in and out of Trek.
I hope
that's
you
right.
know, thank you, and I hope you know that gives me so much permission to do new things, because I know I have a community of women, of Black women specifically, who ride for me so hard. And there is nothing like the support that I receive from my community, because it is of mine. And so when I look to choices that I'm making and I'm like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that, I remind myself, A, it's not always about me, and B, there are people who are wiser, more knowledgeable, more experienced in life, who support me. So how dare I betray them by getting in my own way? So thank y'all. Thank y'all for giving me a reason to get out of my own way. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I hope you guys watch this episode and enjoy it. She's amazing. You're going to love it.
Please watch it. Please.
That episode is it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I got to say this while you're here. Peace, love, and hair grease, y'all. And we're back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that show. Yvette, where can people send their thoughts about Celia or about this latest episode of Strange New Worlds Lost in Translation, if they want to tell us?
You can find us at sci-fisistas.com. That's SYFYSISTAS.com. Join us on the mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the Sci-Fi Sisters Book Club, both on Facebook. On TikTok, Instagram, and Threads, sci-fi.sisters. And we are also on the Twitter at Sci-Fi Sisters. Become a patron of Sci-Fi Sisters today at patreon.com/Sci-Fi Sisters. The Trek Geeks Network's presenting sponsor is Fansets. Go to fansets.com for pins and memorabilia for all your favorite franchises. Visit fansets.com and use Trek Geeks, all caps, for your exclusive 10% discount. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and write a review. We may just read it on an upcoming episode.
And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't shout out the baddest engineer in any and all universes. He's responsible for the music you hear on our show, as well as our production services. So if you are in need of his skills, look him up. He's Dose the Anonymous One. Check him out on Instagram. Dose. I never want to let his theme music play. Check him out on Instagram. Dose_the_anonymous_1. And that's it for us, guys. We love you very much. Thank you for listening. Peace, love, and hair grease. Hey, everybody. It's time for the shorty shout out. We'd like to thank the following people for your contributions on patreon.com. Thank you for helping making the Sci-Fi Sisters grow. Anna Post, Susan V. Gruner, Mohammed Noor, Anne Marie, Sue K., Karen Dramera, Daphne Balston, Eve England, Dave A. Gregory, Timothy Baum, The Chief, Ernesto Castagna, L.M., Howard Hogan, J.R. Poole, Ann Bradley, Scott Jensen, Jamal Taylor, Starbase Centaur 4210 Productions, Stephanie Dole, Sailor Marge, Stephanie Baker, Kaylia Zawacki, Liza Albright, T.J. Jackson Bay, Olga Kravchuk, Peter Heisler, Olga Klein, Linda Anderegg, Zakia Graham, Bill Erickson, Mark Richmond, Marcus Bigham, Rita Passant Nethersol, Kendra Stranad, and Rhonda G. Thank you all so much for your patronage. We love you.